Hello, welcome to the lecture series of Biochemistry of Organ System. And first of our series is the assessment of liver functions. As a reminder guys, we have a task on hand kahit na asynchronous tayo today. So first task is to fill in the blanks on the provided handouts by watching the pre-recorded lectures. And then next, habang nanonood kayo ng mga series of lectures, be guided, no? Kasi i-guide kayo kung kailan kayo pwedeng mag-take na ng homework if ever natapos nyo na yung certain topics. Halimbawa, from slide 1 to, halimbawa lang, slide 1 to 10, you will do the homework 1, and so on. Basta be guided on the pre-recorded video. Third is to accomplish the homeworks before 5 p.m. today, January 25, 2020. If ever nagkaroon tayo ng problema sa internet connection, please heads up nyo kami, no? Message lang tayo via Canvas inbox. Then lastly, for the laboratory session, yung worksheets nyo should be uploaded before February 1, 2020. Next week yon, no? Before 12 noon, kailangan naka-upload na. And make sure tama ang i-upload nating file dahil one attempt lang yung nakaset dun sa ating assignment. So let's proceed with our topic. So pinag-uusapan nga natin is assessment of liver function. Ano ang outline natin for today? First, babalikan natin yung anatomy and physiology plus slight histology. Okay? So aralin din natin yung gross anatomy, microscopic or the histology of liver, the biochemical functions, function alterations, and for next week, the liver assessment test. So, hati yung session natin for this topic kasi medyo lengthy siya and kailangan ma-absorb nyo fully yung concept before tayo pumunta dun sa laboratory part of the liver assessment. Okay, dito tayo with the gross anatomy. Describe natin grossly or by naked eye ang ating liver. Okay? Ang average weight of liver is 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms. Anything na magpapalaki ng liver mo, such as your infections, cancer, and other inflammatory conditions, ang term natin dyan is hepatomegaly. And then liver, the right or the correct position of your liver is in RUQ. Ano ibig sabihin ng RUQ? Right upper quadrant of the abdomen. Imagine niyo yung ating abdominal area. We will divide it into transverse plane and median plane. So, ito yung RUQ, right upper quadrant. No? Nakaharap ang model sa atin. Okay? Right upper quadrant, left upper quadrant, right lower, left lower quadrant. And in times of hepatomegaly, pwede yan mag-extend up to your left upper quadrant and right lower quadrant. So, kinakapayan, no, madalas in clinics. Okay, next, describe din natin yung kanilang division. Okay? Sa anterior surface of your liver, it can be divided into left lobe and right lobe. So, the right lobe is the largest lobe of the liver. And it is divided by what structure? Your falciform ligament. No? And this falciform ligament is a remnant of your umbilical vein. So, nung bata kayo or nasa womb pa kayo ng mother, yung previously na umbilical vein ninyo, no, na-retain ninyo and nag-form siya as a ligament na lang called your falciform ligament. For the blood supply, we have two sources. We have portal vein and hepatic artery. Portal vein is actually exemption sa mga rules ng artery versus vein. Kung maalala nyo, di ba, ang artery carries oxygenated blood, vein carries deoxygenated blood. Pero may mga exception tayo dyan, such as this type of vessel. Portal vein actually carries oxygenated blood. And in comparison between these two, ito ang mas nagdadala ng mas malaking bulk of the blood supply towards the liver as in contrast with the hepatic artery na less than or equal less than 30 to 25%. Basta mas malaki ang bulk ng ating portal vein. Sabi nila 75-25 ang ratio. Yung ibang books, mababasa nyo 70-30, 60-40. But at the end of the day, portal vein remains the biggest supplier of oxygenated blood. Okay, bile flow naman tayo. Kung naalala nyo yung ating anatomy and physiology, ito yung dinadaanan ng ating bile. And bile is supposedly fluid that helps to metabolize your fats. Okay? O yung tinatawag nating fat emulsification. So, sino ba ang source ng ating bile? It is the liver. And baka magkalituhan tayo, no? The gallbladder only serves as a bag or storage area for your bile. Kaya in other instances na kailangan tanggalin si bile, diba? Si gallbladder, I mean, may mga patients tayo na nag-worry, baka hindi na sila makapag-produce ng bile or hindi na rin nila matunaw na mabuti yung kanilang fatty food. Okay? Pero, i-explain lang natin sa kanila is that the gallbladder is only a storage area. So, hindi magmamatter din somehow, no, yung kanyang role in terms of fat emulsification. Kasi, tuloy-tuloy lang ang production dahil hindi naman kinuha or tinanggal yung liver. Ang tinanggal lang is the storage area for your bile. Okay? So, paano ulit ang bile flow? Unahin natin from your liver. The cell responsible for the production of your bile is your hepatocytes. Remember, your hepatocytes are the structural functional unit of the liver. And then, pag sa mga cells, nakapag-produce na ng bile, dadaan na siya sa mga small tubes. No? Ito yung mga series of mga tubes na kailangan niyang daanan. Ang smallest tube na makikita natin sa liver is your bile canaliculi. And then, palaki na siya na into bile ducts, and then bile ducts. And then, the major or pinakamalaking duct for bile is the hepatic duct in the liver. No? Ito yung pinakamalaki sa liver. And then, masushoot na siya papunta kay gallbladder. Kapag hindi pa kailangan lumabas ni bile, halimbawa, naka-diet kayo, no? O, hindi kayo kumakain. So, naiipon lang yung bile dun sa loob ng gallbladder. If ever kailanganin na lumabas si bile in terms of fatty food intake, so lalabas na siya, cystic duct, lalabas kay common bile duct, and then eventually ma-reach na yung food pagdating niya kay ampulla of Vater na makikita sa second part of your duodenum. So, balikan natin ang ating duodenum. No? Anong itsura ba ng duodenum? So, ang duodenum is divided into 4 parts. The first part, ito yan, yung malapit sa ating stomach. Yung ating second part, itong descending part, yung pababa. So, nasaan sa second part si ampulla of Vater? So, ampulla of Vater or yung tinatawag natin major duodenal papilla. So, same name lang yan, no? Synonymous sila sa isa't isa. third part, yung ating horizontal part of the duodenum. And then the last part, yung papunta sa jejunum. Okay? So, importante lang dito sa lecture is the second part and saan lulusot ang ating bile sa major duodenal papilla or the ampulla of Vater. Siyempre, darating din ang time na ipapa-discuss sa inyo ng mga pasyente nyo kung ano nangyayari sa kanila. And the best way to explain their situation is through drawing. Okay? Ang isang medical student, kailangan talaga ma-practice itong visualization, no? So, ganito lang ang simpleng drawing kapag magdi-discuss kayo ng bile flow. So, from the liver, di ba, in your knowledge, di ba, ang hepatocytes ang magpo-produce ng bile, papunta kay canaliculi, ductules, ducts, and eventually, ito yung ating hepatic duct. Some of the bile will flow into the gallbladder to be stored. Okay, pag kailangan na siya, lalabas siya papunta kay cystic duct. Okay, ito si cystic duct. And then, bababa siya tuluyan kay common bile duct. Lalabas kay ampulla na part ng second part of the duodenum. Okay, simple lang. So, yun yung di-discuss. Usually, ganun ang discussion with the patients having problems with halimbawa, gallstone, may mga cancer sila along the way. So, yan ang dinidiscuss ninyo kapag nagkaroon lang ng chance. So, balik tayo with histology. So, this is this schematic diagram of a whole hepatic lobule. No? Hepatic lobule is the functional unit of your liver. So, ano ang meron kay hepatic lobule? Hepatic lobule contains your portal triad. Ano ang meron kay portal triad? So, ibig sabihin ng triad, tatlong contents. So, we have bile duct, yung daanan ng bile, portal vein, which supplies oxygenated blood, and at the same time, hepatic artery. So, yan ang portal triad. Okay? So, it is interconnected by your sinusoids. Okay? And then, para ma-drain naman si deoxygenated blood and other waste products, lalabas siya out of central vein or the hepatic vein. So, meron tayong iba pang mga contents. So, aside from what I mentioned, meron tayong mga hepatocyte and Kupffer cell. What are the Kupffer cells? Kupffer cell serves as the tissue macrophage of the liver. So, aside from hepatic lobule, may makikita ka rin ng mga ibang type of structures. And this is what we call the structure-function relationship. So, for now, tandaan lang muna natin itong mga information na to. Hepatic lobule is, ang focus niyan is the blood drainage, no? The blood supply and the relationship of the blood from your portal vein and hepatic artery going to the central vein, no? Ang portal lobule naman, ang focus niya is the bile flow from your hepatocytes going out to the canaliculi, ductules, ducts, and hepatic duct. Sa portal sinus naman, or portal asinus, ito yung, ang focus naman niya is the oxygenation of the hepatocytes. So, yan ang primary information muna na ipaprovide ko. Pero, ano ba ang itsura nila or the arrangement nila pagdating sa liver? So, ito yung ating structure-function relationship na sinasabi natin. So, dito muna tayo sa kulay blue na diagram. Itong kulay blue na to depicts your hepatic lobule. And again, your hepatic lobule will describe the flow of your oxygenated blood going to deoxygenated blood, no? Yung galaw ng dugo from your portal vein, hepatic artery, papunta kay central vein or the hepatic vein. Okay? Dito naman tayo sa green part. Yung green part natin, medyo mas malaki siya, no? This is your portal lobule. The portal lobule connects the bile drainages na in this part, yung bile duct ng ating portal triad. So, nasan ba yung ating mga bile duct? So, ito yung mga yan. So the next structure-function relationship is the orange part naman or may pagka-red-orange part. So ito yung ating portal asinus. Okay. So portal asinus naman, ang dinidescribe dito is saan daw banda ang mas oxygenated, saan banda ang least oxygenated part. So ang dinidescribe dito is itong diagonal structure na to, na interconnected ang dalawang central vein and yung kanilang connecting portal triad. Okay? So, alin daw part dito ang pinaka mabibigyan ng oxygen? Siyempre, malapit sa portal triad, and this will serve as your zone 1. Ang least oxygenated part naman is what you call the zone 3, yung mas malapit sa central vein. So, gets nyo ba yung principle bakit mas madami oxygen dito? Dahil dito yung unang source of the oxygenated blood brought about by your portal vein and hepatic artery. Dito naman ang least oxygenated dahil ang central vein will carry your deoxygenated blood. And in between doon sa dalawang zone na to is your zone 2. So, anong silbi nitong structure na to? This will predict, no, kung ano yung part ng liver mo na mas ang unang maapektuhan in terms of cirrhosis. Ano ba ang cirrhosis? Scarring of tissue. And this kind of condition will affect the blood supply. So, ang unang-unang maapektuhan sa mga ganong cases is the zone 3 dahil ito yung least na nadadaanan ng oxygen. Dito mas nauuna and then paubos na ng paubos. Okay? So, dito ang unang target ng ating mga ganong condition, yung nagpapa-lessen ng blood supply or oxygenation sa liver. Ang zone 3 ang mas affected in terms of cirrhosis. So again, discuss natin kanina, what is the tissue macrophage of the liver? It is the Kupffer cell. And this is a board exam question. So, take note natin yan. Tatandaan natin yan. Okay. What are the biochemical functions of your liver? Iba-iba yan, no? Actually, yun lang, yun ang organ na hindi mo talaga pwedeng tanggalin, no? Kasi yun ay carrier ng iba't ibang role in terms of your metabolism. So, unahin natin itong excretory or secretory function of your liver. So, paano nangyayari itong function na to? Liver will form bile acids, and this is a secretory part, no? And bile again is used for your fat emulsification. Next is cholesterol metabolism through the production of your lipoproteins. Tatandaan nyo ba yung mga LDL, HDL, and VLDL nyo? Lahat ng yon, ang synthetic area niya is the liver. And then next, your bilirubin metabolism. Aaralin natin ulit, no? Yung ating extravascular hemolysis in which your RBC destruction will turn into your bilirubin production. So, babalikan natin yan mamaya. Next, synthetic function naman ng liver. Ano yung kaya niyang i-produce? So, basically, lahat. The three major organic chemicals sa katawan is your carbohydrate, lipids, and protein. So, babalikan natin yung ating mga terms sa biochemistry, no? Mamaya, ano ang kayang gawin for the metabolism and the formation of your carbohydrates, your lipids, and proteins ng iyong liver. Next, for detoxification. So, paano ginagawa yan ng liver? Through, number 1, inactivation of compounds, drug or chemical modification, and drug metabolizer. So, imagine niyo, halimbawa, kung uminom kayo ng sobrang daming alcohol, bakit pa rin kayo buhay? Kung ang alcohol ay very toxic sa katawan, it is all thanks to your liver kasi it can inactivate the toxic content, it can modify the chemicals into a much lesser toxic or mas magagamit nyo yung kanyang chemical content. And lastly, may mga drugs na hindi readily functional, no? So, kailangan mo i-activate. So, si liver ang magpapa-activate sa mga medications na yon. And next, it serves as a storage area, no? Storage area siya ng glycogen, vitamins, your iron, 'di ba? Pag dumaan doon after hemolysis, and blood. Kasi meron tayong blood production function, sometimes ang liver, naalala nyo nung bata, dun sa fetal era ng buhay natin, ang liver, before bone marrow, produces your blood cells. Okay, naalala nyo ba ito? So, from second year, matagal ko nang kinukwento sa inyo to. Babalikan natin yan. No? Hindi kayo gagraduate na hindi nyo memorize ang bilirubin metabolism. Okay? So, balikan natin itong kwento na to. So, kapag ang RBC mo na-reach na niya yung full capacity niya, halimbawa, no, sa ating average lifespan of 120 days, it will be automatically destroyed. And the content, yung hemoglobin content ng RBC will be broken down into 3 contents. You have the heme, your iron, and the protein. Yung heme will be converted, correct na lang yung ating handout, converted to bilirubin. Proteins naman will be broken down into simpler forms called your amino acids. And iron, ma-recycle yan, didikit lang siya sa ating mga transport protein called transferrin. Now, yung heme natin, no, once na na-convert siya into bilirubin, bilirubin will bind to your albumin. So, the bilirubin albumin complex will be brought or will now be called your unconjugated bilirubin. Okay? Bakit may ganitong term? Mamaya sabihin natin, no? And then, ito naman, papasok to readily to your liver, no? And then, pagdating niya kay liver, yung unconjugated bilirubin will be prepared to be conjugated using your ligand din. Siya ang magpe-present dun sa ating unconjugated bilirubin sa ating enzyme called UDP glucuronil transferase. Once na na-present na niya yan, conjugation will proceed and the bilirubin will now be called your conjugated bilirubin. Conjugated kasi meron na siyang glucuronic acid content. And this conjugated bilirubin will now be ready to be exported outside your liver, papunta kay intestine. Anong gagawin ng conjugated bilirubin sa intestine? Kakainin siya ng ating mga gastrointestinal bacteria, and this will be converted into urobilinogen. Some of the urobilinogen will be converted into stercobilin or urobilin, and back in your AUBF, these two compounds is responsible for the orange colored tinge in the feces. Okay? Pero hindi lahat ng urobilinogen ay mako-convert into stercobilin and urobilin. 20% of this compound will go back to the liver or bloodstream, and this is what you call the extrahepatic circulation. Sa extrahepatic circulation naman, no, dalawa ang dadaanan niya. Okay? So, yung iba, pupunta siya sa liver to be recycled. Yung iba naman, pupunta sa systemic circulation or yung bloodstream natin. And then, dadaan siya eventually to your kidneys, and then urine, and then siya rin ang responsible for giving the yellow color to the urine. So, in short, no, ang extrahepatic circulation is that the 20% of the urobilinogen will go to your bloodstream. Some of them will be going to your liver to be recycled. Some will go to your kidneys in the form of urobilinogen or urobilin, which will confer the color yellow in your urine. Okay. Discuss natin yung differences between these two compounds, your unconjugated bilirubin and conjugated bilirubin. Meron tayong mga terms sa books na katulad lang ng mga ganitong terms. Okay? So, may mabasa kayo sa books na ang unconjugated bilirubin is also known as indirect bilirubin, while your conjugated bilirubin is also called as your direct bilirubin. So, bakit yan tinerm as ganyan? Advanced information. Conjugated bilirubin is directly measured during laboratory measurement. Ang unconjugated bilirubin, kaya siya indirect kasi ang nakukuha lang siya by subtracting the total bilirubin minus the conjugated bilirubin. So, ganun lang siya mini-measure. Indirect lang ang measurement. So, yun yung basis ng kanilang name. Okay. In terms of solubility naman, mas water-soluble si conjugated bilirubin. Kaya ito ang nakikita nyo sa ating mga feces and urine, no? Kasi water-soluble sila. Water-insoluble naman si unconjugated bilirubin. So, ito mas present po sa bloodstream dahil hindi naman siya nalulusaw. No? At hindi rin siya lulusot sa ating kidneys dahil sa kanyang insolubility against water. In terms of polarity naman, polar si conjugated, non-polar si unconjugated. So, anong importance ng polarity ng itong dalawang ito? In terms of travel papunta sa brain or sa mga ating mga barriers, halimbawa, blood-brain barrier sa brain, mas nakakapag-travel or nakakapag-pass through si unconjugated bilirubin because of this feature. In contrast with your conjugated bilirubin. Itong polarity niya confers its unavailable or incapability to pass through the BBB. Next naman, sino ang free, no? Sino ang bound. So, ang free is your conjugated bilirubin. Bakit kaya siya malaya? Dahil wala siyang kapartner or nakadikit na albumin. Si unconjugated bilirubin may nakadikit na albumin. Okay? Back in our diagram kanina, right? Si unconjugated bilirubin, didikit kay albumin papunta kay liver. So, talagang dapat may kapartner siyang albumin. Sa laboratory measurement naman, no, sino ang may kailangan ng accelerator? Accelerator will change the property of your bilirubin para maging free state, no? Tatanggalin niya yung mga nakadikit na albumin para mas madali mo siyang ma-measure. So, ang kailangan ng accelerator is the unconjugated bilirubin dahil nga nakadikit siya kay albumin. Ito naman, hindi kailangan ng accelerator dahil malaya naman to, no? Walang nakadikit na albumin. Information overload na ba? So, break muna tayo, okay? And then, review the terms na sinulat nyo kanina and then you can proceed to homework number 1.